I'm trying to make a little tutorial for you so that you get a very nice application for your prosthetic. And it's done, it's ready. This is it. It looks a little bit light, but it has no makeup on it yet. I show you mine. This is my actual one. You see it is already used. I ripped off a little bit of the edges. That happens when you remove it, but it looks something like this. I mean, I'm not wearing any foundation or makeup or something, so it looks pretty weird. I've been contouring my pearl nose with turquoise shades, and I used a lot of highlighter because, I mean, she's a pearl, she needs to shine, you know. What I use for application, first of all, you need to clean your face, get rid of all of the oils. A very good adhesive is not Mastix because it gets too stiff and the edges will get a little bit crusty. That's not what we want. We want a very smooth surface that we can work on. So I like to use ProsAide. It looks like shit, but it is really good. I'm gonna put it in the info box down below so you can check it out. It's a cream adhesive and it stays flexible, and that's really great because on areas like these the face has a little bit of movement, and if you use Mastix, the problem is that the movement will loosen up the prosthetic and it gets crusty and crumbly and it's not very cute. So I like to use this because it stays a little bit moist. Kinda. It is also very flexible. You can also use this to cover the edges and apply makeup on top so that you have a really smooth transition and you don't even see the edges. That's really cool. Talking about the edges. So here you can see the edges a little bit better. They are really thin and kind of transparent, and they are uneven, and this is very important. As you can see on my prosthetic, they are even more uneven because I ripped it off once. They are uneven because you get a much better transition to the face so that there is not an obvious line, you know. It's very important, so don't cut them off, please. Leave them where they are. You can even go with tweezers and pinch a little bit on the edges to get them even more scraggly so that the transition will be better, but it's not necessary, I guess. What is necessary is that you take your nose. I'm gonna take mine. You see I cut out the nostrils to fit mine. You need to do this with yours. You can take very small scissors, like for your fingernails, the small scissors, and you can cut these out. And to mask them, don't just cut. Take a little pencil like this, a cold pencil or a colored pencil for the eyes or stuff, and you can put the prosthetic on your nose and you can mark where you want the nostrils to be, and afterwards you can cut them out easily with a small scissor. So, as I said, you can use this ProsAide cream to glue it to your face. I do this with a little sponge, like the makeup sponges. I do it in very, very thin coats so that it doesn't get bulky or greasy in the end. I do one thin coat, and when it gets a little bit tacky, you're gonna feel it. After about 1 minute, you can tap it a little bit with your fingers to get it more tacky, like Mastix. You can apply the nose to your face. You can use tweezers or these things to be sure that it doesn't hit your face until it is where you want it to be. When you got it down, you can take more ProsAide to get a better transition and stipple it with a sponge upon from here to your own nose so that you have a very smooth transition. Don't use latex. If you're gonna use latex for it, it will also apply to the prosthetic and it will build up and you have a more visible line. We don't want that, so just use the ProsAide. If you need the ProsAide very fast and you don't have access to it, or it would be too long for shipping, I could fill you something in a little container so that you can use it for your first, second and maybe even third application for €3 extra. If you're interested, just write me. And when you're done with everything, take a shitload of powder, of transparent powder, and powder the whole nose and everything you coated with ProsAide around it so that it's not sticky anymore. That's very important. So when it's not sticky anymore, you can apply your foundation as usual and do your makeup as usual. And I would recommend that you apply makeup to the nose too, because it's probably way too light. To get a more human-like color, you can apply a little bit of orange eyeshadow go to your foundation, orange and pink maybe, I don't know. It depends on how white you want your pearl to be. When you apply orange and pink tones first under the foundation, you get a more realistic human color, I guess. Also, as I said, it's optional, but you can use a little bit of contour and highlight. It's always very nice on pictures and it looks really cool, especially for Pearl. I mean, she has a little bit of iridescence, like a shimmer to her sometimes. Depends on the shot in the series. That's why I chose the turquoise and a lot of highlighter. That gives the whole thing a little bit more dimension, you see. Yeah, and that's simply it. If you want to remove the nose, don't rip it off like I did, because that's stupid. I think I can use this just one more time. But if you're careful with your nose, you can use it multiple times. I think not more often than 5 times or so, because the edges get very rough and like this, not very cute. So you can see the edges and you can achieve a good transition. Take a little bit of isopropyl alcohol, I guess 70% at least of alcohol, and you can take a cotton swab like this and apply it to the edges very carefully, and you feel that it gets a little bit loose. And if you see that it starts to peel, you can go a little bit under it and remove it very carefully, so you have many applications with this one. And if you need another one, just contact me. And I hope you have a lot of fun with your pearl nose. Feel free to tag me in your pictures if you like to. You don't have to, but I would love to see your pictures with your pearl, and I hope you have a great time wearing it. I hope it fits you, and if you have any problems or questions, feel free to send me an email or write me on Instagram, and I'll be there to help you. Have a good time. Bye bye.